Well, welcome back. Now, let's throw further light into this whole controversy. And the sticking point in the controversy actually involving the Chief Justice of Nigeria is where he should be tried. Should it be the National Judicial Council, NJC, or the Code of Conduct Tribunal? Now, those in favor of the Code of Conduct Tribunal say because the Chief Justice of the country is first and foremost a public office holder and bound by the law of the country, which requires every public office holder to declare their assets before the Code of Conduct Bureau, something which, of course, the Chief Justice did, but did not declare everything. The Code of Conduct Tribunal is therefore the appropriate place to try Chief Justice Walter Onnoghen. Now, let's take a look at the guidelines of the Code of Conduct Bureau as it relates to assets declaration for public office holders. And let's look at it. First is, you go to the first page of that document. What you see is this. It says, this form is a schedule for the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, and it is mandatory for all public officers, whether elected, appointed, recruited, contracted, etc., by whatever name called, to collect and sign the form from the Code of Conduct Bureau office nearest to their workstation in any of the 36 states of the Federation and FCT, or the Code of Conduct Bureau headquarters at the Federal Secretariat Complex, Shehu Shagaru, Maitama, Abuja. Now, the second article, or the second issue there, it says, the responsibility to collect, fill, and return the form rests solely with the declarant. Therefore, submission of completed forms by the declarant through his or her respective head of department does not in any way exonerate declarant from responsibility or liability. Now, the third item there, every declarant is required by law to declare his or her assets, liability, including that of his spouses who is not a public officer, and children under 18 years of age, honestly, sincerely, and submit same to the Bureau within 30 days of the receipt of the forms. The fourth item, you are to declare only those assets and liabilities you actually own at the material time of filling the form. Do not declare any assets or liabilities you are anticipating to have before actual acquisition, something that came up in the case of the Senate President. And then the fifth item, all properties, assets acquired outside Nigeria must be stated clearly with the value of the said assets in the currency of the country where the property is situated. And that's the sixth item now, says, after the completion of the form, the declarant must personally go and swear to the declaration before a high court judge nearest to his workstation before submitting it to the Bureau. So you have to go and swear to an oath before a high court judge. Now you can understand why some people are saying that what the CJN did is very grievous. Now, the seventh item, every public officer is to note that it is the requirement of the law to declare his or her asset liabilities on A, assumption of office, B, at the end of his term of office, C, at interval of 4 years for public officers on continuous employment of government, whether federal, state, or local government, and D, and at such other intervals as the Bureau may determine from time to time. 8. When filling the form, you are required to provide detailed information, including but not limited to the number, types, address, value of property so declared, and the date of acquisition, as well as income derivable from the properties where appropriate. 9. Note that where a question in any column is not applicable, you are not required to state reasons. 10. Also note that all declarations made by declarant are subject to verification by the officers of the Bureau authorized on that behalf. 11 says failure to declare your assets are required, very crucial, as required under the provisions of paragraph 11 of the 5th schedule of the Federal Constitution shall attract on conviction any or all of the following. First, that's A, removal from office, B, disqualification from holding any public office, and C, forfeiture to the state any property acquired in abuse of office or dishonesty. Now, those are the glaring facts confronting the CJN, if you like, in this case. Now, let's flip the coin and look at the argument of those who say it is the NJC actually that should try the CJN, Walter Onogen. The argument is anchored, of course, on the judgment of the Court of Appeal in Nganjiwa versus the Federal Republic of Nigeria 2017, to the effect that any misconduct attached to the office and functions of a judicial officer must first be reported to and handled by the NJC pursuant to the provisions of the law. They also argue that only after the NJC has pronounced against a judicial officer could prosecuting agencies of the federal government proceed to initiate criminal proceedings. Now, let's look at the NJC itself. It's actually the National Judicial Council and is basically charged with the responsibility of, among other functions, the appointment, promotion, and discipline of judicial officers. So, who makes up the NJCs? Let's look at the composition of that body now. And let's go to the first slide. There you have it. Now, this is just the preamble, but it says by the provision of 20 of Part 1 of the third schedule of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, the National Judicial Council, that's what it means there, shall comprise the following members. First, we're now looking at the composition. First is the Chief Justice of Nigeria, who shall be the chairman of the council. So Justice Walter Onogen is actually the chairman of the National Judicial Council. Then the next most senior justice of the Supreme Court, who shall be the deputy chairman. Then third, the president of the Court of Appeal. And fourth, 5 retired justices selected by the Chief Justice of Nigeria from the Supreme Court or Court of Appeal. So the Chief Justice of Nigeria, the CJN, selects 5 justices into the NJC. And now the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court is also a member. The President of the National Industrial Court of Nigeria is also a member. Then 5 Chief Judges of States to be appointed by the Chief Justice of Nigeria from among the Chief Judges of the states and of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, in rotation to serve for 2 years. So appointments made by the CJN. 1 Grand Qadi to be appointed by the CJN from among Grand Qadis of the Sharia Courts of Appeal to serve for 2 years, appointment made by the CJN as well. 1 President of the Customary Court of Appeal to be appointed by the CJN from among the presidents of the Customary Courts of Appeal to serve for 2 years, appointment also by the CJN. 5 members of the Nigerian Bar Association who have been qualified to practice for a period of not less than 15 years, at least one of whom shall be a senior advocate of Nigeria, appointed by the Chief Justice of Nigeria on the recommendation of the National Executive Committee of the Nigerian Bar Association to serve for 2 years. For 2 years, and subject to reappointment, provided, so there's a proviso there, provided that the 5 members shall sit in the council only for the purposes of considering the names of persons for appointment to the superior courts of record. So these 5 members from the NBA cannot seat when the NJC is supposed to be seating, probably to take disciplinary action now against any judge, including the CJN, of course. And then let's look at the last one now. 2 persons not being legal practitioners who, in the opinion of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, are of unquestionable integrity. So it's very glaring that the CJN appoints about 90% of the members of the NJC. So the question is, how then can such a body sit in judgment over the Chief Justice? And how can you guarantee the impartiality of such a body so composed? I guess when the NJC was set up, it never crossed the mind of the government at the time that, the head of the body itself could be on trial. So the question is, what happens next? Everyone is watching, I should say. And one thing is very certain. The integrity of the Nigerian judiciary has never been more at stake like this very moment. Thank you very much for watching. I am Deji360. If you want to watch this program again, it's very simple. Just go to our website, tv360nigeria.com. You'll find this program and lots more there. You can also watch us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/TV360 online. Of course, we're also on Instagram by the same name, TV360 Nigeria. And of course, on Twitter, our handle is @TV360 Nigeria. Well, thank you very much for watching. And we must also thank the MacArthur Foundation and CTAD for supporting this initiative on accountability and anti-corruption. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.